Hello everyone, it's Catherine here from Ink Fingered Cat. I am back with a Festive Friday project, and I do Festive Friday every Friday, but I don't always do videos, but I decided I would do today. I really wanted to do some stenciling, and I wanted to use this Sizzix stencil that kind of produces a tartan or a plaid. I think it's probably more of a tartan than a plaid. And I was going to use, and I do end up using these Simple Stories big bits, but I don't end up using the piece that I started off thinking I was going to use. I switch out quite a few times. So I went in quite bold. I went in with this cherry cobbler as my first layer of ink, because I thought I was going to use that bird piece with the berries, and so I needed I needed that red to match in. To be honest, the final card, all this work that goes into the stencil, and you probably can't see very much of it, but never mind. I didn't know that at the time. So I went in quite heavy with the cherry cobbler, and there's my first layer down. My second layer, at first I was going to do green, and then I thought, no, that might be a bit much. So I thought, well, since it was quite vintagey looking, the piece that I was intending to use, I went in with the brown instead. So this is Vintage Photo Distress ink, and this is probably the second heaviest amount of ink in terms of, there's quite large patches, but it's sort of that diagonal stripy bits, I think is the best description for it. And doesn't it look fab? Just love it. So this third one, I went in with the green, and to be honest, it's just a tiny little pop of the green because it's just a couple of the stripes across at the top and the same at the bottom. So I went in with gumball green for this one, so it's quite a bright green that I chose. And then my final one, I thought I'd do something different. And as I say, there is very little of this actually visible on the final card, so really didn't need to go to this much effort, but it is quite fun to do something a little bit different sometimes. So off camera, I've been and got my modelling paste. Now, the modelling paste isn't completely opaque. It depends how thick you put it on, and also it does pick up the colour that's underneath it. So it does go a bit pink in places, which is a bit odd. I also did not a brilliant job of stenciling the middle of it. Important when you're using modelling paste though, do a thorough clean up very quickly. So first of all, took all of that excess off the stencil using my palette knife, and then I am cleaning it thoroughly with baby wipes and with my microfiber cloth in order to make sure that it's all cleaned up. Same off the stamp wheel, didn't want anything sticking to my grip mat. And then I'm going to give all of my stencils a good clean. Again, this is like really messy because I always do the red last as well when I'm cleaning up because it dyes everything. So yeah, had a good old cleaning session. Everything was wiped up, everything was cleaned up, and that gave some time for that modelling paste to dry. Now bear in mind, it's just a few stripes, and you can see here I am changing my mind about what I want to use. And at this point I thought, well, maybe the globe, and then I changed my mind and I wanted this ticket. I don't end up with that either. You'll have seen from the screenshot that's not what I end up doing. But yeah, I really couldn't decide what I was doing. Now, I have been on a bit of a mission when I've been making cards to try and remember to do the inside, and that's why I've pulled that holly leaf to one side. I have been and got my sentiment. My sentiment is a foiled sentiment, and now I'm just adding a bit of softness. Again, probably can't see most of this on the actual finished card, but there you go. But I'm going to add in that that bit of ribbon. Is it ribbon? It's more like a crochet trim. So I'm choosing some green cardstock because I've got a scrap of it left from another project, and I've decided that that's going to be my border, my matte layer. But I decided at this point, actually, let's put a bit more texture in. So I really, really distressed the edges. Like really ruffled them up, put some tears into them, just to make it a little bit more fun. Now, most of my modelling paste was dry, not completely dry, but most of it was dry. And now I'm going to pat, I did add a little bit of extra zhuzh with the heat tool, and now I'm just reducing the size of that panel a little bit in order to make it fit on my card base background. Should have remembered to gut the cardstock, completely forgot. I clearly wasn't in the mood to do that day, just completely forgot. Never mind. And I'm just going to wrap that trim, crochet trim around the card. I will add that up on some foam tape, but it's at this point I change my mind and I go completely different, and I end up A, going for the poinsettia, and B, turn it back into a portrait card rather than a landscape card. Now, I do go a little bit mad with my foam adhesive because I just don't like it where it sags. So I did try and put foam adhesive in dots in lots of places to make sure that it was going to fit nicely and not sag on my card. And then I'm adding glue to my big bits, glue to my sentiment, and then I am going to temporarily pop something heavy on it just to make sure it adheres. And then I decide, well, now I've completely covered up most of my background, I am going to add some glitter to the front of this piece just to make sure it's got a little bit of something going on. So inside, I know I'm going to use this holly leaf, so I glue that up ready, and then I thought, oh, could do with adding in a little bit of the other bits too, and as I've got these scraps off to the side, might as well use them. So I layered up one little strip and then added my holly, and that is my card done. So you can see some of the stencil and you can't really see the texture paste. Most of the crochet ribbon thing is covered up, but you know, I know it's there, and I really like the card. I think it's a really fun card. I love those Simple Story big bits. I think they're really cool, and I love the little added bit of glitter on the centres of the poinsettia. Hope you enjoyed this. Please do subscribe if you want to see more. There will be plenty more videos to come. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.